in poking around on Facebook, reading Huffington Post, and other media news sources, I see time and time again, what is happening to our world? What is happening to our world? You know, depending on your age, you could have thought with the coming of the age of the Aquarius, we're supposed to be in peace and love and harmony. And if you're a little bit older, it was Y2K. Oh, with the new millennium, there's going to be peace and love and harmony. And if you're a little more contemporary, you know, with the end of that Mayan calendar in 2012, there's going to be peace and love and harmony. So when we look around, what is happening? What's happening? And here's what I think is happening. We as human beings have a long history of a consciousness of polarity. We have a long history of a consciousness of duality, right and wrong, good and bad, lack and abundance. And that consciousness is expanding and contracting. It's expanding and contracting, and as it moves, it torques and it twists, and so the reality that we experience is the kind that says, what happened to our harmony? But even deeper than that consciousness, like it doesn't matter how long we as human beings have had that consciousness of polarity, even deeper than that is a deep, solid desire for a reunion with God. Is a deep, innate, natural, like we can't help it, desire to have that remembrance of our oneness with God. Because when we have that reunion with God, when we are restored to our wholeness, when we experience a balance and an expression of our divinity as physical health, mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, then we have health. So this is a diagram of what it might look like. Where reunion is the same thing as our remembrance of wholeness, a full expression of our divine perfection, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and that equals health. So that equals an experience of our health. You notice I didn't say it equals an experience of our healing, because healing is different than health. Healing is the process that gets us to the reunion. The process of a series of actions and decisions and choices that bring us to the state of consciousness. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, talked about how we are the inlet and the outlet of consciousness. Whatever consciousness we're holding, whether it be this divine consciousness of oneness or the consciousness of polarity. Charles Fillmore says, everyone's the inlet and outlet of an everywhere present life, substance, and intelligence. Now, Charles Fillmore was mighty particular about lowercase and uppercase letters. So if it was an uppercase life and an uppercase substance, then it would be the divine. It would be that union, that reunion, that perfection, that wholeness. But in this case, it's lowercase letters. So it's really a reflection of our human consciousness, those human thoughts and beliefs that we have accumulated over time, and we are the inlet of them. We soak them up. They come into us, and we are the outlet of them. We demonstrate them. And if we're soaking up the polarity thoughts, the polarity consciousness, then we're going to have an experience of disharmony, yes? Yeah. Yeah. He goes on to say, when a person's eye recognizes this fact and adjusts itself to the invisible expressions of the one mind, uppercase M, God, a person's mind becomes harmonious, one's life vigorous and perpetual, one's body healthy. So this makes sense to me when I look at what's happening in our world, because this is how it works and this is how it doesn't work. So when I think about what happened 10 days ago, the state of North Carolina passing a bill that promotes discrimination, that prevents counties and cities from setting their own minimum wage and makes it illegal for us to say anything about that, It's like, oh, I get it. I get it. It's polarity. It's fear. It's pulling us apart. That's disharmony. So here the bill passes on a Wednesday and Thursday morning. I'm in my office and up comes an email from the ministers group that this church is a part of. We're part of a group called UMAS, which stands for Unity Ministers of the Mid-Atlantic States. And that would be North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. You know, don't ask me about the configuration, but that's what it is. So we get this email. I'm at my desk. Annette's standing there. And I read this email from the minister from a different state who says, boycott North Carolina. And I go, oh boy. Oh boy. And I realized, I got to recognize that I had this new habit of saying, oh boy. When something comes up, I just go, oh boy. And I don't know how many of you in here are mechanical engineers, but there's a device called a pressure relief valve. The pressure relief valve is my oh boy. Because what it really does, if you want to know what they look like, here's a pressure relief valve. And here's a closed system. And pressure relief valves are put on closed systems. If you're an engineer, you know that there are two up here, but that's the one I'm highlighting. And it's like water or other liquid goes through, and sometimes it's gases like steam. And anyway, they go through this closed system, and after a while going through the closed system, things happen and pressure begins to build. And a pressure relief valve just lets off a little bit of pressure, like poof, so that the rest of the system can be working efficiently and safely. So I'll just say this, mechanical engineering is very spiritual. It's very spiritual. So we have these pressure relief valves. You have your own version, and mine right now is, oh boy. Oh boy, I read this email, oh boy, and I just, oh, my mind goes, but oh boy, I got to put the brakes on, and it wasn't 2 hours before people started replying, and the third reply was from the minister in Columbia, South Carolina, and she said, we need to stand in love, and we need to be in love. It doesn't matter what's happening out there, as long as we stand in love and be in love, harmony will occur. We will be healthy. We are healthy. We are having that reunion with God when we can stand in love. And then, within 24 hours, the minister from Greenville, South Carolina said, for now we envision a world that works for all. We love and bless those that declare themselves as adversary to right-minded thinking. We see legislation brought to the light of awareness and repealed. No weapon formed against us can prosper. And then our own Reverend Renee says, this legislative body is beyond comprehension. Absolutely. Poof, that's his relief valve. It blew his mind, right? But he says, I still choose to live in North Carolina, knowing that eventually divine order will prevail. He's affirming the truth. In the meantime, I ask all of you, wherever you live and work, please pray with us. This state is filled with a multitude of reasonable and loving people. I encourage us all to trust in the wisdom of Spirit. Amen. Yeah. There are three things going on here. The first is we come to a choice point. We can choose to have a reaction, or we can choose to respond. We can choose to be a part of a healing, either collectively or individually, or we can choose to play a different game. It's a choice point. And in the middle, we have consciousness play. Consciousness play is the healing process. Consciousness play is the work that we do so that we can remember and have that reunion. Sometimes the work is hard. Sometimes the work is painful. Sometimes we have to face into things that break our heart. But we can also, at the same time, have a lot of fun. Okay? Remember the pressure relief valve? Do you know what sound a pressure relief valve makes? Okay, that's one of them. Sometimes it's like a fire hose, depending on the size of the system. And sometimes, oh man, we can't go on. Wholeness is the fundamental and ultimate reality of each person's being. Don't forget that. So, pressure relief valve sound can be like a tea kettle, or if we wanted to play and have fun with our personal pressure relief valve sounds, we could be a musical instrument. Something could happen, something occurs, and we get out our piccolo and we go, I cannot believe this is happening to me. Or we get out a trombone. This is what is happening. Or if you're a drummer, this is happening right now. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, because if you close your eyes and you can't see anybody else making noise, they can't see you either. Okay? So close your eyes, think of something that happened. It can be anything, because healing is more than politics. Healing is life. So think of something and then pick your favorite musical instrument. I'm not going to do this by myself. It's more fun when you play with others, but remember their eyes are closed, so. Okay, so we're still going to face the tough stuff, but we're going to have fun doing it. So let's say another way to play consciously and healing is to have some food fun. Let's say that you are now on a gluten-free diet, because that's what's the best thing for your body. Go out and buy a box of Pamela's pancake batter and make fun shapes with it. You can make fun bunny things and get a little whipped cream for the tail, or you can make faces. You can do all kinds of things, but you can have fun with your food as you are healing your body. You could also, if you have to take those liver cleanse drinks, you can have them in pretty glasses. You can have them in really pretty glasses. And then, you know how crunchy things are really healthy in salads? And the internet says that, you know, a salad has only reached half its potential if it doesn't have crunchy things in it. So put some cranberries and some nuts, and you can have fun with your food that way. Or you can invite a whole bunch of people to come over to your house and have dinner with you, or have lunch with you, or have brunch with you, except on a Sunday when you're here at Unity of Wilmington. You can start the conversation and talk about really super serious things, like what would you do if you won the Powerball lottery, which last Wednesday was $116 million. So you could have really fun conversations about that. And then if that wasn't enough fun to have while you eat, you could paint all your kitchen chairs red. Or you could paint your kitchen chairs yellow, or you could paint them blue, depending on what color you wanted to immerse yourself in. So that's like 2 ways now you can have a whole lot of fun. This is like the happiness of healing. Because like I said, there's work. Don't get me wrong, there's work. But we can also have a whole lot of fun while we're working and doing serious things. So the colored chairs brings us to the next kind of fun we can have, and that's color immersion. Colors are used all over the place, whether you know it or not, but you probably knew it, because think about a hospital. It has institutional green, and that's so the patients will be calm and in a healing color. And if you think about red and yellow, they're used in packaging, food packaging all the time, so they just jump right off the shelf and into our shopping cart. Or in Hawaii, we have yellow fire trucks, so people will see them. And in Wilmington, we have red fire trucks, so people will see them. And when you go for a job interview, your job coach will tell you, don't wear brown, because brown is a very powerless color. I used to have brown in my wardrobe for years. Then I found that out. Now I have different colors, because colors mean different things. Evelyn Monahan wrote a book that was published in 1975 about metaphysical healing. She had healed herself from a brain injury that caused her to have blindness and seizures, and her arm didn't move, and all of a sudden she practiced this metaphysical healing on herself, and she got her eyesight back, and she stopped having seizures, and she could move her arm. So she got a job at Georgia State University teaching metaphysical healing as a class, and every semester her class would be full. And one of the things that she accompanied her process of metaphysical healing with was color immersion. So if you have a blood disorder or you want more vitality and energy in your life, use red. Wear red. Red is bold. Red is energetic. And if you have problems with digestion or assimilation, then you should wear orange. Now, orange is also really good for asthma. Evelyn Monahan tells the story about a 7-year-old boy whose mother brought him to her, and he was having up to 5 asthma attacks a day. The doctors had looked at him, they gave him every medication known, and he was still having these asthma attacks, and he was 7 years old. He wanted to be like all the other boys and play and do boy things. So Evelyn Monahan sees him, and she tells the mother, here's the treatment, and surround him in orange. Think of Pigpen with his dust cloud, but surround him with a dust cloud of orange. Surround him with orange energy. So the mom took this very seriously, and she gave the kid nothing but orange crayons. And the kid drew orange fish, orange houses, orange trees, orange clouds. 3 weeks later, she took him back for his regular doctor appointment, and there was no asthma. The doctor said, I don't know what you did, but it worked. He's got a clean bill of health, and I will give him permission to play baseball. So he joined a Little League team, and guess what color the uniforms were? Orange, right? Amazing, isn't it? She talks about yellow being good for purification. If you have any organ issues down in your belly or intestinal issues. She talks about blue being good for tranquility and peace. And if you get stressed out, wear blue. So, I'm just saying, sometimes being a minister is so stressful that we can, wear blue. And I just thought I'd just look through my closets and my drawers and pull a few things out. And, well, this one doesn't match. If anybody wants blue, you got to give it back. And if I was still living in Connecticut, I would put on my blue hat, because it's wool and it's so cozy. And if it was Cowboy Sunday, which it isn't yet, I could have a blue handkerchief or another blue handkerchief. And here's a nice blue scarf, so I can put more blue energy this way. And then I have another blue scarf, so I can put more blue energy this way. Are you feeling calmer yet? Okay, this wasn't really blue. And this is blue, but it's really good for the beach. And this is pretty, and it was my mother's. So we'll put a little more blue on. And then, because we can, but we have to breathe very carefully as we put them on. And then I'm in this blue energy. I've created my own blue cloud of tranquility. And yes, I had a lot of fun. I'm thinking you had a little bit of fun watching me put on my blue shoes. I got it. Yeah. It's just this is play. This is the happiness of healing. This is what we can do for ourselves and with ourselves so that our pipes are clear, so that our consciousness is open to whatever version of the highest realization of our oneness with God we can possibly have. God is love. You are love. We are love. Let's sing about sacred love as we come into a time of meditation.